I want us to look at three primary ideas. That Jesus Christ was skinned for us, suffered for us, in other words. That Jesus Christ was dying for us. That he went all the way, he didn't stop just short. And that Jesus Christ is victorious. That he accomplished it, he did it, he finished it. It was a victory, not a defeat. But firstly, since us is mentioned a number of times, who is us? Who is us? Does it really mean all of us? Are we all covered? Jesus speaks about who he's doing it for. He does it for his sheep. He does it for everyone the Father gives to him, and he keeps. He does it for all those people, everyone who believes, everyone who trusts in what he's doing, because he's undoing the fall. He's undoing what happened in the Garden of Eden. He's undoing the collective fall of humanity. He's undoing our disobedience, and he's doing it through obedience, the darkest obedience that is required. He's taking the punishment that disobedience requires. So firstly, Jesus Christ skinned for us. He wasn't doing this sleeping. He wasn't doing this passively. The disciples had been sleeping, but he wasn't sleeping. They offered him wine that was mixed with a pain relief. He didn't take it. He wasn't sleeping. His eyes were wide open to evil. Just as in the garden, Adam and Eve's eyes have been opened to evil because they'd done it. They'd done it. They'd felt it. Well, Jesus now was feeling it. He didn't do it. He was perfect, but he felt it. He became sin for us. He suffered for us. He suffered for what we deserved. He knew this suffering externally. They whipped him. They scourged him. It would take the skin from your back, ripping the flesh off his bones. He was skinned for us. He knew that suffering, and people could see it. Can we see it on Jesus this morning? Can we see it on his cross? Can we see it with the eyes of our heart and trust that he did that for us? For us. He knew this suffering externally, so much so that his outer layers were being stripped away on our behalf. His clothes were stripped from him. In the garden, they were naked, but they were not ashamed until they knew sin, and then they were ashamed and they needed to cover themselves. But Jesus Christ was not covered. His clothes were stripped from him, taken by the soldiers, and yet given because he could have stopped it. His clothing was given for us, that beautiful robe. And it says it's a robe that is seamless, woven from above. And Jesus talks about us being born from above. He was born from above. He came from above for us to be down here with us. And that beautiful robe, seamless, woven from above, was taken by those soldiers, taken and yet given, like his life. He could have stopped it. He didn't. He presented it. And yet that's not the worst of his suffering. My God, why have you forsaken me? That's the external that we see. But there was an internal going on. He was bearing shame. He was bearing suffering. He was bearing the wrath of God. My God, why have you forsaken me? He took the punishment that was required by people into himself, into his own flesh. It got under his skin, through his skin that had now been ripped to ribbons. And that relationship with God, which was broken by us, was being felt by him, broken on the inside. Jesus loses his skin. God's own skin is offered. In the suffering of Job, Satan says, skin for skin about Job. Skin for skin. A man will give anything in exchange for his own life. But this is what Jesus gave for us, for our lives. For our life, skin for skin. So he was stripped. He was stripped even of his flesh, the outer layers. He was stripped of his garments, and he hung there. He came from above, given to us below. This sin must be punished, and Christ took it. And we see that when he says, I am thirsty. It entered into him. He was thirsty. Hell is a thirsty place. Being separate from God is a thirsty place, a place where our deepest needs are not met when we're far from our Creator, when we're disobedient from our Creator, when we suffer because we are not close to our Creator and our Father. Christ, who promised rivers of living water would flow from within him to those who believed, now thirsted. Why? For them. Spiritually thirsty. Hell is a thirsty place, and Christ was draining its power for us. The punishment, internal, external, was on him, under his skin to the very inside. Secondly, and more briefly, Jesus Christ was dying for us, and he did die for us if we trust what he did. Dying for us, he was more than tormented. He was a sacrifice all the way to death. He says, Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing. A sacrifice would be presented with some show of ignorance. In Leviticus, if you look at it, the sacrifices there are presented with we didn't know fully what we were doing, but now accept this sacrifice. And Jesus was that kind of sacrifice. He was crucified at 9 a.m. and died at 3. And those were the hours in the temple when the regular memorial offering was offered. This is when Jesus was dying. This is the crucifixion. Jesus is the perpetual sacrifice. Why? The sacrifices were being made alongside prayers for redemption, prayers for forgiveness. The sins fell on those sacrifices is the picture, and the favour of God would return. It will come to us because Jesus was that perfect, unblemished sacrifice. And he can say, I tell you the truth, today you will be with me in paradise. He's done it all for this person that he says it to on the cross. He's done it all for us if we trust like he trusted. Adam and Eve deserved death. Back in Genesis, it says quite literally, dying you shall die. And Jesus did that. He fulfilled that. Dying, he died. Christ did it. Christ achieved it. Lastly, Jesus Christ is victorious. It was effective. He did it. He won it. He knew it. He finished it. He finished triumphant. Jesus said, it is finished. And with that, he bowed his head and gave up his spirit. He didn't just say, I've had enough of this, or I've run out of time, or enough with you lot. No, he didn't give up on us. He finished it. Completed. He's the only one in all of history that can say it quite this way. It's finished, it's done. And then to choose to die. He did, he gave up his spirit. He chose. That was the moment. Why? Because he'd done it. He came what he came to do. He had finished it. He had not just run out of time. It said that Queen Elizabeth's last words were, all my possessions for a moment of time. And we often feel like that as we're approaching a difficult event. All my possessions, I give everything if I could just do this. Give everything if only I could right that wrong. If only I could have a bit more time with the family. If only I could achieve that in my career. But Christ didn't die despondent in that sense. He died victorious. It is finished. Everything is won for them. And we can be united with my Father forever. That's a victory. That's a moving on. Jesus died with it finished, complete, perfected in the perfect tense. Having done it all, having clothed us, having secured salvation, having exhausted punishment, having achieved paradise for us, sacrifice effective and complete, redemption bought, then he chose to die. Jesus called out with a loud voice, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. He was able to trust to the last, and therefore he was setting right the disobedience from the garden. So if we trust him, he is united with us, and we with him, and with our Father forever and ever. So let's step into life with Jesus today and each day, who suffered and died, the perfect tense, but a final and a complete, effective work, victorious for us.